So in their desperation, a certain nameless person made a huge courtroom mistake recently. They brought up the idea of conflicts of interest. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to change up their approach. They need a new defense, and well, part of that new defense is trying to discredit JD's witnesses. See, that certain nameless person wants to say that they're for sale. He bought them with gifts, with job positions, and more. But this approach, it creates a problem for that certain nameless person. Namely, every single one of their witnesses would be discredited by this as well. All of them are either too closely tied to that certain nameless person, have taken money in the forms of propping up their lifestyle, paying for their lawyers, and so on. Yeah, the very move that they're trying to pull would doom their case. You know what? Some days I feel like this is their approach to the courtroom. Got it? Oh, I know. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that some of the names on here, yeah, they're not testifying on JD's behalf. Some of the names, like Josh Drew, Raquel Pennington, and many others, they're people that testified on that nameless person's behalf. They're ones that went to bat. They created the entire narrative for that nameless person. I wonder, why exactly would you name them? Are you afraid that they're going to turn on you? Are you afraid they have something very interesting to say and you need to head that off? This list here, this move, it's not only a giant courtroom fail, it makes you wonder. You and I, we're going to talk about all of that today too. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. Oh man, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. One thing before we get started, we have a sign-up sheet for our new comic coming up soon. It's at the top of the description. Check that out. More at the end of the video. Thank you in advance. So as far as this strategic deviation is concerned, this was brought up in a recent courtroom decision in Virginia talking about certain requests that nameless person had. Now, the fascinating thing about this decision is you could see everything that nameless person is going to try to do, their entire defense strategy pretty much mapped out before your eyes here. You could see where they're going to try to pull information. By the way, that's going to be from old courtroom decisions. Who they're going to go after. They're going to go after people like Tracy Jacobs. They're going to go after people like Mr. White. They talked about charitable donations. And of course, they want to bring up the idea of conflicts of interest. You can see this right here. Please provide documents sufficient to reflect all loans, benefits, perks, expenses, or payments for any other reason in excess of $5,000 in either cash or value made by you from May 21st, 2016 to the present. So we're talking about 5 years worth of information on every single one of these people. Now, this does have some caveats too. The foregoing shall not require the production of documents reflecting payments to JD's attorneys. JD shall also identify in the affirmative and without stating any amounts whether any of the above identified individuals received any salaries, commissions, bonuses, advance, they call that all salaries from him. Now, if you look at the list of people that nameless person wants to discredit, there are almost 50 people associated with this, and some of those names, well, I find them to be fascinating. Why? Because you have one of the best friends for that nameless person listed here in Raquel Pennington. You also notice Josh Drew. There are other people in this too that had very close association to that nameless person. It makes me wonder, are they afraid that they're going to turn on them in the courtroom? Are they afraid they're going to tell the truth? Is this stuff a preemptive strike? Now, ignoring that potential issue for just a second, and that is a huge issue, by the way. I mean, if you really think about it, you think that your witnesses might turn on you. You need to take them out before they can take you out. Yeah, you got a problem there. But ignoring that and just sticking to conflict of interest, this creates a huge problem for that nameless person too. I mean, if you look at the people that testified in the Sun trial, what you'll notice is this. Everyone is connected to that certain nameless person. We're talking about employees, we're talking about friends, we're talking about relations, but you don't have one single person that is not intimately connected in that, yeah, this problem is so glaring that research papers connected to this very subject say that every name associated with that nameless person needs to be taken out. Here's the research paper, by the way. Assessment of credibility of testimony in alleged intimate partner violence, a case report. Now, if you've never seen that report, by the way, or have never checked it out, you definitely should. It talks about unstructured versus structured approaches, basically looking at things critically versus, well, the way that the UK approached that. And remember, the judge in the Virginia trial also brought up the idea that that trial in the UK, yeah, that might have not been a fair one at all. Now, in a structured approach, and that nameless person does not want a structured approach, by the way, you have 6 factors or 6 elements that come into play. And factor 3, well, it pretty much eliminates every single witness that nameless person has. Corroboration by credible others. Quote, corroboration by credible others analyzes information collected by credible, i.e. neutral third parties, which is crucial in the absence of prior prosecution. As Austin indicates, relatives and friends are considered biased witnesses and untrustworthy because effective bonds might cause them to have a personal interest in confirming their testimony to a party. In addition, persons with a dependent relationship, e.g. employees, ongoing contracts, might have a financial conflict of interest besides other constraints that may occur in a relation of power and therefore feel compelled to corroborate their party's account of the events. In this regard, they are also considered non-credible witnesses. The more neutral the third party is, the higher the credibility. Now, if you take this approach and you apply it to the Sun case, you would have 30 people all told that you would be examining between JD and that nameless person. Now, when you consider friends, close acquaintances, current employees, etc., you eliminate those. Well, this excludes all 8 witnesses for that nameless person. And for JD's side, well, you have 7 out of 22 that end up removed. No credible witnesses corroborated that nameless person's account of events. That's right. If you want to bring in conflict of interest, basically that nameless person has no one testifying on their side. This, if it's not a courtroom fail, I don't know what is. I mean, it showcases desperation. It tells you exactly where they are. Yeah, this is a mess up and then some. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work, so thank you. That link in the description, by the way, that's for our new comic book coming up soon. See, we can either complain about companies ruining products, we can complain about them denigrating consumers, or we can make our own thing. Why don't you join us with that? Sign up. We'll be launching that pretty soon. But yeah, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Going to end here with another thank you, and we will see you soon.